A patient from the Philippines undergoes surgery at Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital to remove a tumor from her jaw. In the aftermath of cyclones in New Zealand, Tzu Chi volunteers distribute cash cards to affected residents in Edgecumbe. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program with a special medical report. A patient from the Philippines named Sarah Dayday has traveled to Taiwan to undergo a surgery to remove a tumor from her jaw. The surgery was extremely complex and long since the diameter of her tumor is more than 11 centimeters. Fortunately, the surgery appears to be a success. Let's first take a look at how the doctors prepared for this challenging operation.
The superintendent of Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital, Chung, has come to visit Sarah Dayday on the evening before her operation to reassure the patient and discuss the most recent test results.
其他的心脏啊，什么各方面检查，
我们都检查过了，所以基本上是 OK 都没有特别 finding。对，只有 HB 比较低一点，8.3，所以上礼拜我们有出血的。
After Sarah completes the exams before the operation, she begins preparing for anesthesia. To be safe, Dr. Zhao consults the hematology department about the HB blood cell count. Sarah recognizes the concern of the doctor and her heart is warmed despite her anxiety.
会很顺利的，会很顺利，不要害怕。
Facing an operation that may take up to 14 hours, Sarah has been full of worry the past few days. Volunteers have been by her side to keep her company and ease her worries with walks through the hospital courtyard.
I told her only in Taiwan would you find these kinds of doctors. That's because Tzu Chi is an organization that finds the best specialists and brings them together. They tell their parents very clearly what the operation will entail.
Over the past week, the surgical team has been doing a lot of preparation to repair Sarah's jaw. Thanks to 3D printing, they have a perfect model of the jaw for the operation. Everyone is eagerly awaiting the success of the operation and looking forward to Sarah regaining her confidence and her health.
Next, we'll follow along as Sarah Dayday goes into her operation to remove the tumor from her jaw. After the surgery, which lasted nearly 16 hours, Sarah is kept in the intensive care unit while her jawbone's healing is monitored. Here's our report.
After anesthesia has been administered and prep work is complete, the medical team gets to work with the first stage of the tumor removal. The surgeon is Xia Yiran, a specialist with many years of experience dealing with oral cancer surgery. However, with a diameter of over 11 centimeters, Sarah's tumor is the largest he has ever removed from a patient's jaw.
During the removal process, it will be really important to determine how close the tumor has grown to the veins and arteries of the neck. We have to separate it carefully and completely while being careful of these blood vessels and important nerves.
After the tumor has been carefully removed, the next portion of the operation involves restructuring Sarah's jaw. To create the jaw replacement, a 3D printer was used to sculpt a thigh bone into the shape of the jaw. Sculpting the new jawbone was the most difficult and time-consuming part of the preparation before surgery.
After we remove the leg bone and sculpt it into a new jaw shape, we hope that when we are implanting the new jaw, that the patient's blood vessels are elastic enough to stretch and then tighten back up around the new jaw to keep the bone alive.
The surgery appears to have been a success, and the contrast between Sarah's before and after image is striking. For the next 3 days, Sarah will be kept in an intensive care unit, while the bone's healing is monitored. Then, the next stage of the dental implant surgery will be conducted.
Taiwan's Eastern Timor chapter recently conducted 2 free clinics, one on the Green Island and the other one on the Orchid Island. Let's first take a look at the free clinic on Orchid Island, where Chinese medicine services were offered.
Due to poor weather conditions, these volunteers have been waiting a long time for their flight. Eventually, they give up on flying. Taiwan's Eastern Timor chapter, headed to Orchid Island, is going with Plan B. The The Tima group endures discomfort and some seasickness in order to reach their destination of Orchid Island. They are scheduled to visit 6 different communities once they arrive. The heavy rains and high humidity of the island are reasons for a lot of illness among residents.
There are work-related problems and injuries, and then the climate can also worsen things. On top of that, people's financial means are limited here, and their diet is heavy with salts and oils. This contributes to lower metabolisms in general, so there are a lot of people suffering from the 3 highs. All of these things together, with this kind of wet, damp climate, the sickness can seep into their bones. Most people on the main island can't imagine these kinds of conditions.
Following the example of free clinics provided in the aftermath of Typhoon Nepartak, Chinese medicine doctors do their best to provide the most effective care in the short amount of time.
因为这个穴位都肿起来了，对不对？所以要把这边按一按。
很舒服，因为很新奇啦，第一次会遇到针灸的一些蛮神奇的。
The locals are grateful for the medical treatment and are also deeply touched that the doctors would come from so far away.
They all chose to leave the comfort of their air conditioning and homes to come out to our little island. Transportation is also a hassle, along with arranging food and lodging. Life on the main island is so convenient, so sacrificing that to come here and care for us is really great, and we really appreciate it.
Doctors young and old work together to treat people from all generations at the free clinic. There is even a teacher from the island's high school who has come to serve as a volunteer translator for the elderly indigenous people of the island.
All of the teachers live at the school, so we are all very close with one another. So we always invite each other out to events together. In this way, we're all looking out for one another. I think this really adds value to people's lives.
The love and care of these doctors and volunteers is safeguarding the health of communities on Orchid Island and bringing everyone, locals and those from the main island, closer together.
As we mentioned, Tima's Eastern Taiwan chapter recently held its annual medical clinic on Green Island. This year, ultrasound equipment was made available to local residents. One elderly resident at the clinic was suspected of having a cancerous tumor on her neck and was recommended to undertake a follow-up examination.
Traveling far away from Green Island to Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, Li Zhengziyu has a neck tumor for some 3 decades. She is finally accompanied by her son to undertake a full medical checkup.
People told me not to have surgery because of the dangers. Before I came to Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, and then when I went home, the doctor said that it was as hard as a stone and that I needed surgery.
Li Zhengziyu traveled from far away because of a Tima Eastern Taiwan chapter's free medical clinic in Green Island. Special medical equipment was brought to this clinic to treat residents with special health needs.
Green Island lacks medical resources, so we especially brought this ultrasound and checked her neck and found a 30-centimeter tumor, which is a serious illness and requires treatment back in Taiwan.
The Tima Clinic was the first to discover her troubles and relayed information about her illness to medical professionals back in Taiwan. Fortunately, through their quick action, people living on this island have the same access to quality medical services.
Earlier this month, 2 tropical cyclones hit New Zealand's North Island, devastating the small farming town Edgecumbe. A total of 1,600 local residents were evacuated, with some of them having to stay at a temporary shelter for 9 days. Tzu Chi volunteers headed to the disaster area to distribute cash cards to help those affected residents.
On April 4th, Cyclone Dayday struck New Zealand. In less than 10 days, Cyclone Cook also hit this area, displacing the residents living in this small farming town of North Island, Edgecumbe. After the flood receded, Tzu Chi volunteers came here to host the distribution.
bring Master Zheng Yin's blessings here to care for our affected residents. I believe soon we can go hand in hand to rebuild cute and beautiful homes.
Among the 200 affected families, 45% of them are Maoris. Volunteers gave out cash cards worth $485 as cyclone victims expressed their gratitude to volunteers with the traditional Maori greeting, hangi.
I've lost some of my animals, all my furniture, clothes, my car, my house. I'm not insured with contents, but this means so much. Thank you so much for the work you do.
In the past, disaster victims in Auckland also received assistance from Tzu Chi. To repay love, some staff members from the Auckland Civil Defense registered to volunteer at this event to experience the joy of giving.
Being part of the Tzu Chi team today has been an incredible honour. I feel part of the team, and it was such a blessing when we just had one more gift and one more person come in. We just knew this is what real faith is and real belief that everything's just right.
Volunteers also shared with the affected residents how these eco-friendly blankets are made, in the hopes they can cherish this gift that is not easy to obtain.
In another disaster-related story, we turn to Ecuador. After parts of Ecuador were devastated by floods in April, Tzu Chi has been continuing its work for relief program to help the residents in Santa Ana clean up their hometown. Among the translation volunteers there are more than 10 residents of Canoa who received earthquake relief help from Tzu Chi last year. Since they know what it feels like to suffer from natural disasters, they want to do their best to help the people of Santa Ana. On the third day of Tzu Chi's Work for Relief program in Santa Ana, more than 1,000 people have joined the effort. Among them are volunteers from Canoa who have endured suffering caused by the earthquake last year.
I am from Canoa. I came for a noble cause. Several months ago, we suffered a natural disaster in the form of an earthquake. I experienced being in pain and in need. The reason why I'm here is because I want to collaborate with Tzu Chi Foundation. What they do is really spectacular.
I am a bus driver for tourists. I was hired to drive around the people helping the town. I realized that they needed more support, so I started helping them. Later, they gave me a volunteer vest, so I may join the volunteers.
A daily routine is to organize the cleaning groups. We divide people into groups to do the cleaning after evaluating the damage inside and outside the house.
The mud was 1 meter high and the water too. Let me tell you, I had a heart attack and I don't remember anything. I was told that everything was gone in my house. When I returned there, I could not remember anything. Of course, my life is gone.
I'm here today because I want to offer my assistance to the brothers and sisters of Santa Ana who have been affected by the weather. We are evaluating if they have disabilities and assessing their living conditions and losses. We also try to give them a hug and words of comfort so they can feel better.
I appreciate all these people who have come to help us. Everything is very clean now. I feel really good.
When the lady showed her gratitude for what we were doing, I got emotional. I got goosebumps and I wanted to cry. I feel that my soul gets purified when I help others. Helping the people of Santa Ana means a lot to me.
The volunteers and the residents who have taken part in the Work for Relief program also donate their coins. They know they haven't lost everything because they have gotten much support and love from their fellow countrymen. In our continuing series on adopted children, we'll look at the struggles of adopted children as they try to find their families. First, we meet physically challenged artist Grace Young, who was adopted. She has now grown up and married. In her spare time, she often returns to the orphanage that cared for her and teaches the children to paint. At the age of 13, she hoped her biological parents would step forward. However, they never did. I have been deeply impressed with my father. He bought my first painting.
觉得妈妈的背。
I feel the mother's back is like a mountain and makes me feel very safe. Not seeing my mother made me very nervous. I didn't know where they were and if they cared about me. When I was in the hospital, I really needed people to care for me, and if they appeared, it would be even better. Originally, I had a lot of hope, but then it eventually led to a lot of frustration. Have I ever thought about if I grew up with my biological family and what my life would be like? Maybe I wouldn't have the opportunity to encounter such a good adoptive mother and father, and maybe things wouldn't turn out so good for me as I suddenly saw the light.
His mother is still very uneasy as she worries about the language barrier and whether or not Tim will hate his mother for letting someone else care for him.
And we remember that he was looking at them and immediately saw that his father had the same shape of face with him. And when he looked at his mother, he said, "Hey, yes, hey, you have the same nose as me."
His mother said she was sad because he would need further surgery to save him, and there would be lots of medical expenses. She said it was better that they suffer and give him to a family who has a better ability to raise him.
They obviously knew that he may have a lot of medical needs in the future and that he was still a gift from God. Later, his mother quit her job to stay at home to care for him.
I ride a bike and help feed the cattle and clean up the barn. I enjoy it a lot.
I'm one of the Julie Chu babies, and I'm looking for my birth family.
I would really love to meet my birth family because I'm a mother to 4 children, and I know what it is like to have children, and I want to meet the person who gave me life.
Now we collect information, probably more than 40,000 cases. Sometimes when we find their biological family, the parents may have already passed away, though some people actually have brothers and sisters. But they have no way to apply to find out their brothers and sisters. So this will break the family line as these adoptive people may be full of regret. Doctors warn people that staring at computer screens and smartphones for long periods of time can seriously damage the eyes over time. In our next report, we'll investigate some of the problems that may occur from overusing smart devices and also learn about lutein supplements, which may help keep your eyes healthy.
Whether sitting, standing, waiting, or walking, even before sleep, modern people can't seem to be apart from their smartphones. According to recent surveys, the average Taiwanese person looks at their cell phones for over 3 hours a day. Nearly 1/5 of one's waking hours are spent staring at 3C screens, which is very different from natural light.
This kind of habit can really damage small nerve cells, even causing them to disappear. This is the retina of a mouse that was directly exposed to the light of the 3C devices.
By experimenting on the eyes of mice, it's likely that the blue light of smart devices is causing damage to the eyes of more and more smartphone users.
I can't even see my own face clearly in the mirror. Even driving, I constantly worry about hitting the car in front of me.
Mr. Chen's vision is only 0.16 because of a condition known as macular degeneration.
As we can clearly see in his eyes, the macular region is a bit swollen and even a little bloody.
你知道保养眼睛啊，滑手机保养眼睛要吃什么吗？
叶黄素有在吃。
吃保养品呢？
你会吃什么？
叶黄素。
It is certain that lutein supplements can reduce damage to the eyes, especially for people overusing 3C technology.
Most people know that lutein can help keep eyes healthy, but parents and children should be careful not to eat too much, since they can cause your skin to turn a yellowish hue.
If you don't follow the label and overuse the lutein supplements, there really is a chance it will turn your skin yellow.
It is always important to follow doctor's advice and follow directed dosage amounts for nutritional supplements. Some foods that include lutein and zeaxanthins are spinach, sweet potato leaves, pumpkin, broccoli, and carrots. If you are a patient taking a regular medical prescription, then you should be especially careful about how much lutein you ingest.
If you are dealing with liver problems or have very high cholesterol, then you should monitor your lutein intake and discuss things with a clinical specialist.
The best treatment for your eyes is probably taking a break from overusing your smart devices.
If you've been staring at your tablet for 30 minutes, then you should set it down and take a break. Televisions are a bit farther away, so for an hour of watching, you should rest about 10 minutes.
The eyes are the windows to the soul, so it's definitely important to take good care of them to ensure they will stay strong for a long and happy life.
In Taiwan, members of Control Yuan and Ministry of Education recently paid a visit to Tzu Chi University in Hualien. During the visit, they learned about the school's silent mentor program and had a talk with the CEO of Tzu Chi's education mission. Here's more. The equipment and classes at Tzu Chi University's Medical Simulation Center are world-renowned. Therefore, members of Control Yuan's Committee on Educational and Cultural Affairs are impressed by it.
As our students learn surgical procedures, they practice as if they are operating on people who are alive.
10% of Tzu Chi University's student body are foreign students who help other students develop global vision. In addition, the studio used by the communication department also gives students hands-on experience.
As the world changes, we should nurture students' character so they would respect life, protect the environment, and serve the society. I think Tzu Chi has accomplished this.
Tzu Chi University's commitment to nurturing students' ability as well as moral character has left a deep impression on members of Control Yuan, who can in turn continue to improve higher education system of Taiwan. Mid-April marks Songkran, or the Thai New Year festival, and an occasion to pay respect to one's elders. Tzu Chi volunteers in Thailand seized the occasion to visit elderly care recipients and attend an event to honor the seniors. We'll leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.